Hey everybody, welcome back to Cosmetology Q&A Part 2. So today, here's my special guest, college best friend, Kenna. And we're going to start, answering questions back and forth. I think we're going to both answer each question. So we're going to go ahead and get started with number 1. Have you ever ruined the opposite person's hair?
I don't think I've ruined a person's hair. I've ruined a mannequin's hair.
But have you ever ruined my hair? I don't think so. I thought my hair fell out during a perm.
That was not my
story.
fault.
But I don't think I've ruined your hair.
No.
No, never ruined each other's hair. Worst thing you've ever done on a mannequin?
I have 2. Face framing was really rough. I did fine on one side, but then when I went to do the other side, it did not look as great. And then we tried to do a foliage.
Yes.
From learning it off YouTube on a mannequin. And mannequin hair is like really different than human hair, and it did not look very good.
We used 30 volume bleach, and we had to leave it in the dryer for over an hour because
Stapler came in.
And let's just say, it's a wonder we still had hair left on that mannequin. It was that bad. So yeah, that's probably the worst thing. We both made both of those mistakes, so probably the worst thing. What are each of you best at? I would say she's better at highlights and lowlights because she's fast and she knows what she's doing.
You're better at like updos. I can't do an updo to save my life. Maggie's over here doing an updo in like 30 minutes, and I'm like, how do you do that?
But then she can get like a whole head of foils in like 45 minutes, and I'm over here an hour and a half later, only at half of the head. So, yes, I think that's what we're each best at. Who has cut themselves the most? She has. Just randomly, she'll walk in the color room and she's like, I need a Band-Aid.
I cut myself.
Yes. I think I've only cut myself
I
twice.
think I've cut myself, 5 times?
At least 4.
And it doesn't always have to be when I'm doing a haircut. I think I cut my finger on the bricks on the outside of the building one time.
Yeah, we were just walking and she just threw her hand out there, and next thing we know, her finger was bleeding.
Not like punching the wall throwing.
No. But like, when you're walking and you're slinging your arms.
Don't make me look like a klutz.
Sorry. But yes, she has cut herself the most. Weirdest thing you've ever done in school? So this is about to get a little crazy.
We put makeup on a potato.
Yes, so we were gonna do makeup that day, like learning different like contour techniques and like your face shape matching your skin tone. So our instructor decided, due to COVID, she was gonna make us do makeup on a potato, like a potato that you eat. So we had to like match foundation to this potato.
It wasn't peeled either.
No. And then we had to like draw eyes and lips
Eyebrows.
and a nose. All this crazy stuff. Let me tell you, there were some weird looking potatoes. We made it on the Tri-County Facebook page though,
Yeah.
like that was awesome.
And then we did acrylic nails on an egg, and if you filed the nail too far down and cracked the egg, then you failed.
It was really weird.
And then last semester, we had to do our cleaning duties at the end of the semester, and we pulled everything off the walls and took washcloths and cleaned the walls.
We were just like going at it. We were like, we want it to smell good. They're like, you really don't have to do that. I'm like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Is there anything else
So
we've done?
I felt like there's something else.
Yeah.
If we think of it, we'll get back to that. But that's at least 3 weird things we've done. I'm sure the list is longer. We're so cold, our brain's kind of freezing. My sister asks, you know who you are? With a wig on, what crazy haircut or thing would you give on the other person?
I give Maggie purple hair.
Yes, she would. I would give Kenna a pixie cut or a bob. I think that would be hilarious.
That does not go with my face shape.
No, it doesn't, but that's the whole point of it being crazy.
Ugh.
So, yes, that's what the best project you've ever worked on in cosmetology. We did a Christmas competition in fall
Of this year.
2021. Yes. And you could completely like pick anything you wanted, and you got to like decorate your whole station, your whole mannequin based on your theme. And Miss Kenna over here won second place
Overachiever.
with a Holly Dolly Christmas. It was so cool.
It was a red and green, like garland halo
Yes.
piece, and she had like red and green on her face. She had red hair too.
Yeah.
And then I had like a record player set up playing. What was the song that I had playing?
I'll Be Home with Bells On.
Yeah, I'll Be Home
Dolly
with Bells
Parton,
On by
yes.
Dolly and Kenny, and I had it on a speaker playing behind the record player, so it would look
As
like
the
it
judges
was playing.
came through, it would kind of like play and set the tone.
Yeah.
And then I did like a Hallmark themed mannequin. I was so proud of that one.
You had a candy cane one too.
And then I had a candy cane themed one.
She had like a candy cane melt.
But
drip
even
down
like
his
though,
face.
like we didn't, all of our mannequins didn't win. Like we had so much fun. We spent weeks, like
painting the mirrors,
sitting on top of our stations, painting mirrors. Let me tell you, that's hard stuff to get off. We still have
paint on the mirrors.
on our mirrors. Yes, but that was probably the best project we've ever worked on.
Now, if we're
And-
talking like hair wise,
We've done some really good balayage.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've done really good balayage. Maggie's really good at balayages.
Some people think so, some people don't.
She doesn't think so.
But yes, best project. Has a client ever been so picky they made you mad? Yes. So y'all remember that pedicure story I told last video? She made me mad. Like I said, I didn't know whether to like laugh or cry. I think I did cry a little bit. She was just hateful. Like, just one of those people you can't please. And that's what made me mad.
Well, she thought she knew everything
Yeah, because she went to beauty school like
in California.
50 years ago. Honey, I hate to break it to you, but a lot's changed since then. But yes, that's probably the most situation I've been in where somebody's been so picky.
I don't
Do you have one?
I don't think I've had a like picky client. I mean, when my mama comes in, my mama jokes and she's like, "Don't mess up my hair," but that's like the only
But
one that I
that's-
think I've really had.
That's just moms being moms.
Yeah, so I don't think I've had one.
Yeah. Lucky you. Okay, what semester was your favorite and why?
I think mine was fall this year, 2021.
Yes. I think like we knew each other a lot better. We got along a lot better.
Yeah.
I think we learned probably the most in that semester than any of the others. Summer was a really rough semester for many reasons. Spring, you were still kind of like in the learning stage, but COVID like played a really big part. So we were delayed on a lot of stuff, where in fall we got to do a lot more. And I think that's our favorite
Yeah.
by far. Do you two plan on working together after school? So this is our last semester. We're going to graduate in May. I'm actually getting married and moving in June. So unfortunately, like, I won't be here. She doesn't want to move.
I am single and I'm not going nowhere.
So no, we won't be working together, like as far as like getting in a salon together. But I think we could do wedding jobs together.
Yeah, like if
Stuff like that.
somebody around here is
Yeah.
needing an updo or something for a wedding, I'd probably refer her.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll work on each other's hair. Like
Yeah.
if she comes in and everything for a weekend or something, I'll probably do her hair.
Yeah.
But that's probably about it because we don't live close enough.
Yeah. If we lived closer, we definitely would, but we're gonna be like 2 hours apart.
We'd probably own our own salon together.
Yeah,
If we
really.
got
It'd be
to
like
it.
Mags and Kenna and Mags, something
Mags
like
and
that. If you have a name, leave it in the comments below. But yes, that's kind of our plan right now. So, if there's one word of advice that you would give people about their hair, what would it be? I told her before we started this, don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Like, like if you know your hair is like not in great condition, don't do things that's just gonna make it worse and then complain about it. Like, we've had people come in and want their hair done after they've like fried their hair and they're like, "Oh, I want bleach put on," and I'm like, "Are you out of your mind? You don't do that."
Well, there's a lot of at-home care that goes into it also.
Yes.
If you need, don't go like years without getting your ends trimmed because it'll like start breaking up your hair shaft and it'll just make your hair shorter.
Yes.
And don't use a straightener or anything on your wet hair, please.
Yeah. We've had people do that, and then they wonder why it's kind of smoking.
Yeah.
Also, like, I know we've both learned, like, I know shampoo and stuff, like, there's cheaper brands and then there's more expensive stuff. Like, find what works for you, but don't be afraid to spend a little bit extra on your hair care for your hair, especially if you're constantly using heat like I am. Like, I use a wand a lot, and then I recently got my hair permed, so that's just you know, so feel free to just like spend a little bit extra money on hair care because it'll benefit you in the long run.
Don't forget heat protectant. Heat protectant's really big.
Yeah, and you can get heat protectant for cheap. Like, it's not that bad, but it works. So I think that's probably the best advice we could give you from a hairstylist point of view. Worst prank you have ever played in school. I'm gonna let her start this one.
Okay, so I had a family member coming in to get a haircut. He's not like a grandpa to me, but he is like a grandpa to me. So me and him had conjured up to like have him pretend to be like a creep client, like one of these old men that like hit on these girls and everything, because we might have to deal with that someday in life. It was probably good practice at the time. So he came in and he is, like talking like, oh, what pretty girls and stuff, just to like get everybody going. He's not like this in real life, I promise. And he would like do little things while I was doing his haircut, and Maggie was over at the station beside me. I don't know how I kept a straight face through the whole thing, but I did.
He scared the ever-living daylights. Like, he's telling her, he's like, oh, I'm going to Tennessee this weekend for a coon hunt. Don't you want to come? And she's like, no, I don't think my dad would want me hanging out with strangers. And he's like, well, after today, we're not going to be strangers anymore. And I'm like losing it, because here, this is like this older man, hitting on my best friend, and I'm like, no. And then come to find, then he laid a $40 tip on an $8 haircut, and I'm like, no, this can't be happening. And then she came back from lunch and she's like, Maggie, this is all a joke. And I'm like, oh my word. It was hilarious.
We planned it out.
Executed.
We planned it out with my parents and everything, and I called them right after it happened when I was going to lunch. Everybody thought it was hilarious, except for my teacher. I think it freaked my teacher out more than it did Maggie. She was so afraid that she walked me to my car, and that's when I felt bad.
What if he's waiting around the building for you? And I'm like,
I felt so terrible at that point. I was like, oh no.
Very convincing. It was very convincing. Like, she had me fooled.
Maggie didn't believe me. I had to show her pictures of me and my brother with him from when we were kids.
Yeah.
She didn't believe me.
Yes.
What prank did you play? Oh, you played one on your
So me and her did a, like, black to red balayage on a classmate of ours. And she really liked it and everything. Well, her hair, like, from the back, how she was sitting, like, it could have looked like me. So I decided to send my fiance, I'm so sorry, these pictures, and I was like, you won't believe what happened. Like, I'm so upset right now. It wasn't supposed to be this dark. And he's like, oh, I bet you are upset. It doesn't look that bad. And I'm like, I'm pretty upset. And I was like, I'll explain later. I was going to call him later that evening. And he's like, oh, sweetheart, you don't have to explain anything. Like, you're still my beautiful girl. And the guilt just, like, instantly came upon me, because I'm like, here I have, like, made this big deal. And he's, like, trying to make me feel so good. And, not worry about it. Like, it'll grow out. You can cover it up. And he was just so understanding, so then I had to send a picture that, like, obviously my hair is not, like, fire truck red. So, yeah, I think that's probably the worst prank that we've done. Yep. Who has won the game of pool the most? So, if you know us, like, every day on lunch, we would go up to the lounge and we would play, like, two games of pool. Yeah. And without fail, she would always win. Like, the only time I've won, it was her fault.
I hit the 8 ball.
Yes.
The 8 ball.
And she's like, oh, you won. And I'm like, wait, I did? How did I do that? And she's like, technically, you didn't do it. So, yeah.
No, you won once. You won one time, besides me hitting the 8 ball in. Yeah. You beat me one time because you were so excited. You were like, I beat Kenna!
Yeah. But out of, like, however many games we've played, she always wins. So we figured out what the other weirdest thing was. So we were really bored one day, and
We had never done vivids.
no, never
ever.
done like bright colors on anything because we were both like, oh, let's go more natural. So it was fall.
Yeah, and it was a mannequin that somebody had bleached, like,
Yes.
as far as it could go.
Yes. And our instructor was like, you need to work with vivids, like you need to get a little bit of a taste in your mouth. So we're like, okay. And she tells us, she's like, go outside and pick some leaves. And we're like, pick leaves? Like you pick leaves? Like, never heard that before, number one. So we're out here in the back, like walking around picking leaves to get color inspiration. And we came back and then we put them on the counter and she's like, there's your inspiration. And we're like, I just see orange. And
Keep
she's
in
like,
mind, we didn't have any green color left. Didn't brown. We didn't have much brown either, which brown's like an obvious. It's not really like a vivid.
yes.
Um,
But like you think
yeah.
fall colors are like reds, yellows, oranges, browns.
we didn't have any reds either. We were
so
out of green
we
and
had
red.
to do a like
There's a dark,
deep
deep
purple to like orange to yellow ombre.
It looked pretty.
Once it was curled, but it was way out of our comfort zone. Like, please never ask us to do anything like that again.
It looked really pretty though.
Yeah, but
I
it
was
was
really
weird.
surprised at how good it looked.
I think we were just more like, here we are in the back of the college, and like, are people staring at us like picking leaves?
I'm embarrassing as is.
Yeah, walking around with her like, you know.
I embarrass myself.
Just kidding. Yeah, but that's the other weird thing that we remembered and encountered. Hey guys, that's it for this video. I hope we've answered some questions and made it fun. I'm sure there's going to be more of this. We're going to make more stories before the semester's over. So thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome back. So this is part 2 of the cosmetology Q&A. It's going. I don't know. Do we have any more?
I got Valentine's bunny socks on.